Welcome back to Lessons in Leadership. Steve Adubato with Mary. Again, but Mary, I've been writing a column in New Jersey Monthly for a decade plus, Mary.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote my last column for New Jersey Monthly in the September edition after over a decade. And please check it out. We'll put up the website of New Jersey Monthly. Check out the September edition. It's called Garden State of Mind, a fond farewell of a decade plus of contemplation of New Jersey politics, sports, neighborhoods, and more. Okay. It's got a cartoon of me, which is pretty ridiculous, but
I think it's great. I thought you looked a little bit like Bruce Springsteen in that photo, actually.
Well, then it's good. I like it. No, make sure we show a graphic of that. I didn't mean it's ridiculous because I always think I look better, but that's just not true. Kudos to the cartoonist. That's not the point. Here's why I'm bringing it up. So the column comes to an end, and here's what's interesting. Years ago, I used to write for, Remember I used to write for the Star Ledger. I wrote a column every month.
Yeah. That was every week, Steve.
Every week, called The Communication Coach.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason I'm mentioning this. People saying, where's he going with this? So for a long time, many years, I wrote The Communication Coach. And I remember getting a call from the editor of the Star Ledger when more people read newspapers. I think I'm one of 8 that still read newspapers. April, what are you laughing at? Our makeup artist. So I remember I called you. I go, Mary, they killed the column. And I remember being distraught because I would look at things. There's a point to this, trust me. A rejection, an ending of something, your show got canceled. Not that I don't know anything about that, which I do. Or your contract's not being renewed. My contract was not renewed at MSNBC years ago. I got fired in 2002 from what network, Mary?
ABC?
ABC in New York. What does this have to do with anything? I'm convinced that how we choose to deal with an ending of something, a rejection of something, whatever you want to call it, is in us. Because I remember when they were like, listen, Steve, we're going to know the column's run its course. Mary and I were like, okay, what do we need to do now? What do we do next? And the truth is, lessons in leadership, which is ironic, lessons in leadership, the whole concept of it, and you remember this, Mary, came from the Star Ledger canceling the column. Because I said, Mary, why can't we just, when I say I write a column, I mean Mary and I write the column.
We write it together. It's a collaboration.
That's where the book came from. We started writing chapters and then Lessons in Leadership 2.0, the tough stuff. Trust me, the point of this whole thing is it isn't rejection, failure, loss, ending, canceling, not renewing a contract. It's what you do after that. That's how Lessons in Leadership started. Because I said, Mary, let's write a column. And then there were enough columns. And we said, wait a minute, we have a book. Wait a minute, we could turn that into a seminar series. How about this? Mary, is this a product of having the Star Ledger cancel my column?
I think it is. I really do believe that it is. And it's a goofy expression, but when one door closes, another opens. And kudos to you. You were always reinventing, turning those lemons into lemonade. And other people would have just been like, oh, just one less thing I have to do. And you said, no, we are going to take this. We're going to pivot. We're going to innovate. We're going to adapt. And this started as an audio podcast way back in the day, We weren't even on video, and that's why I agreed to do it. And then somehow you sneakily got me on video as well, and here we are today. So it's been a wild ride, but you bring people along with you, you build them up with you, you teach, coach, and everything that we talk about in those chapters in terms of innovation, leadership, pivoting, reinventing yourself. You are continually reinventing
Mary,
yourself.
I don't want to turn this into something like, oh, look at what Steve's doing.
Sorry.
No, don't be Mary. I just, when one door closes, another one opens.
No, but I
don't know if I believe that.
It doesn't automatically open. When one door closes, you need to go and find that other door to open. So that's where I was going with that. There are many times in life, whether you're trying out, and we all go by our own experience, whether it was my son's trying out for a part in a play or a musical, or my other son, Will, trying out for a sports team and not getting on the team that he wanted, or going to get a job and not getting the job that you wanted. All of those opportunities take you to where you are in that moment. And I know it sounds goofy again, but you don't know why sometimes things happen. Everything happens for a reason. And sometimes you just need to look to find out what that reason is, what are the signs and the messages and the lessons that you could take away.
Mary, you nailed it. And someone might say, what does it have to do with leadership? And my response is everything. Because if I go all the way back in the day, and I've written about it, I think, in the original Lessons in Leadership, because we were talking about resilience and grit and blah, 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 blah. Back in the day, before I even knew you, you were a very young child, a teenager. I'm elected to the legislature at 25, the state legislature, youngest legislator. 2 years later, I'm the youngest legislator to lose his seat in the legislature. I'm crying like a baby, thinking, oh my God, this is terrible. Look what happened to me. And there were mentors, and I wrote about it in my book, a couple of mentors in my life who were older and more mature and said, stop being a baby. What's next? I go, no, it happened. It's terrible. They go, no, what's next? How can you use the skills of raising money, which I had to do in the campaign, organizing a team, being able to communicate in public and turn it into something else? I go, what? I'm too busy grieving and crying like a baby, which actually isn't a strategy, is it, Mary?
That is not a strategy, no. And you could have that moment.
Put on what? Put on your what?
What? Oh, I missed that. I missed the prompt. Big boy pants?
Yeah. What? Tell everybody what that means.
What?
Tell everybody what that means. Put on your.
Well, you need to grow up. But one thing that I do want to say though is that you need to grieve, and that's okay. Grieve first. Let yourself go through that, because if not, you're going to leave some wounds that aren't going to heal. But then quickly pivot, adapt. Give yourself 24 hours to have your own little pity party. But then after that, pick yourself up, wipe the dirt off, and get back on that horse.
That's it. So 24. So in business or life, other than personal stuff in our lives, which is very different, loss of a family member, we're not going there.
Mm-mm.
But when it comes to work, business, this stuff, Mary says, the Mary Gamba rule, 24 hours of grieving and crying, a pity party, and then what's next? Pivot, adapt, and be intentional. Elvin says goodbye, and when he says, our director says we got to say goodbye, that's what we do. I'm off my soapbox, and best to the folks at New Jersey Monthly. It's been a great ride. Lessons in Leadership. See you next time. This edition of Lessons in Leadership is made possible by the Buccino Leadership Institute at Seton Hall University, Prager Metis, Valley Bank, the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 825, the North Ward Center, the New Jersey Sharing Network, the Helix, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Fedway Associates Inc., Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Choose New Jersey, and Seton Hall University, showing the world what great minds can do since 1856.
This is Mary Gamba. If you want more leadership tips and tools, log on to stand-deliver.com.
Promotional support for this edition of Lessons in Leadership with me, Steve Adubato, and my colleague Mary Gamba has been provided by NJ.com, NJBIA and New Jersey Business Magazine, CIANJ and Commerce Magazine, and the Meadowlands Chamber and Meadowlands Media.